Good morning, friends. Happy Bosses and Breakfast Day. We are so excited to be here with you this Wednesday. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Working out the wires.
Yeah, I know. It was stuck underneath my computer. I was like, come on, wire.
Good morning. So say hello. Let us know where you are in the world, what you're drinking this morning. Hopefully it's not booze if it is the morning, because it means that you're already having a rough start to Q4.
For a good start.
Or a good start. Maybe you're on Figgy.
Sometimes you need to get the edge off, right? No judgment zone here.
I have just same old coffee and oat milk. Just
Yeah,
dip hot
same
in it.
old here. I have espresso and um almond milk. I've been into almond milk lately.
We got it. I mean, listen, there's only so much we got to make changes in our lives. You've got Waterloo, Iowa here, Mina, from with
Oh,
Amanda.
nice. Amanda, I have a funny story. So from what this is Waterloo, Iowa story. So I went to go see one of my best friends. I went to go see his brother play tennis. So we drove there from Waterloo, which is a couple hours from where I am in Des Moines. And we accidentally, I don't even know how, just no sense of direction here. And this is when we were in college and he was in high school. When we drove back, we actually went east instead of west by accident and didn't realize it till we hit the edge of Iowa, which said, "Welcome to Dubuque." And we're like, oh my gosh, we went the wrong direction. Anyways, anytime that Waterloo pops up in my head, I think of that ridiculous story of young Mina lost somewhere in eastern Iowa, going the wrong direction. Then we had to drive 2 hours back to where we were. So.
Oh my goodness. That reminds me of a time I was driving around Italy. No.
Different from Iowa, but
Silly kidding.
it's just like I did a post on Instagram for all of you that follow us on Instagram. So that was young Mina, okay? Mina at 23 probably, okay? So at 23 years old, get this, Jacqueline, J.K. Rowling was broke.
I saw that I
Yeah.
saw you post this.
Barack Obama was a community organizer. Jeff Bezos was flipping burgers at McDonald's. Walt Disney had just declared bankruptcy. So this is what we all need to believe. Even lost Mina in Waterloo area. Never stop believing in your dream, in your vision, or in yourself. Because, right? I mean, things could change so drastically. Look at these people.
You may be in your 40s and still not know how to drive around, but you'll have a successful business.
But now Jacqueline sent me this thing last night that was like, you're old when, and I remember that they had like sheets
a
of
BuzzFeed.
MapQuest. Yeah, sheets of MapQuest and still
Print
got
it out
lost.
and like in your car. Before we get
Yeah.
into really fun stories, we should probably
Oh
go
yeah,
live.
yeah. Yes, we should probably go live. Yes. I mean, if you're on Facebook, you get the preview, I
Pre-show.
think. Yeah, the pre-show.
So thanks for being here, our Facebook friends. Okay, I'm gonna go live. Ready?
Yeah. I'll find you.
Good morning, Instagram. It is Bosses and Breakfast Day. We are excited to talk about leveling up your online presence today, your visual presence. And it's Bosses and Breakfast, and it's always fun time. So as you're joining, say hello. Mina is jumping on per usual. And we are going to get started on this fun thing. And plus, we have some fun stories. I mean, we're just chit chatty today, I think. We've already been live in one Facebook group today. All right. What?
Yeah, we were live with Julie Ball of Sparkle Hustle Grow. So, and then in between, I added a headband and some lipstick. So, I mean, what can't be done today? Nothing. Today is it's full of possibilities. Okay. All right. So I think you can kind of see me. Okay, this lazy arm.
For our team, if you're watching live, would you mind dropping in the links to join the small business shopping directory? We're going to talk about that, but I'd love to have it into the comments so I can pin it. So we were just talking about some fun stories. Mina was referencing, I don't know if you want to read it again. No, you can't.
Oh, I can't because I'm on Instagram, but I know it from memory. Okay, so at 23 years old, so however old you are, I'm way beyond that. And I was just telling a story about how I got lost, from Waterloo, Iowa, because somebody on Facebook had popped up and said, "Hi, I'm from Waterloo, Iowa." And so at 23 years old, Jeff Bezos was flipping burgers at McDonald's, the Jeff Bezos, J.K. Rowling, which fun coincidence. I actually have a Harry Potter coffee mug today.
Fun coincidence, I just
And
told my husband, I was like, "J.K. Rowling is your dad's boss."
yes.
Yeah.
And J.K. Rowling was broke at 23 years old. Jeff Bezos was flipping burgers. Barack Obama, former president Barack Obama, was just a community organizer, not just, but he did a few things during that time. And what was the last one? Oh,
Walt
Walt
Disney was
Disney.
bankrupt.
Yeah, Walt Disney had just declared bankruptcy. So if you don't think that things can change, you are mistaken. So keep believing in your dream was essentially what we were saying this morning. Anyways, it was in a nutshell. If I were to put that in a nutshell, that was it.
So, speaking of nutshells, that's my transition. But I will also say, if we're talking about like 20 something, 20x years ago and things like that, um, Sarah Blakely of Spanx, like the
Mhm.
ultimate product boss, right, just announced today that she sold the majority share of Spanx finally. She's like, for 20 years, she's been asked, when are you going to sell Spanx? When are you going to sell Spanx? And she said, I'll know when it's the right time. So she partnered with Blackstone, and she finally made that deal and made the deal. She announced it today. So congratulations to Sarah
Did she
Blakely.
announce the amount? I'm just curious.
No.
Yeah, they
Um,
usually don't right away. But my favorite story about Sarah Blakely, and I think we all ears up on this one, is that when she was growing up, and I feel like this led to her success, when she was growing up, her dad every single day would
oh, I
ask her
love
and her
this.
brother, "How did you fail today?" Instead of like, like what went well today, it was how did you fail today? So it normalized failing for her. So she would always, like, oh, I tried this and it didn't work out. It felt like less of a sting. Whereas
Mhm.
now all of us are like a little bit scared to fail. But she was born and bred to fail from a very young age. And it was considered a very good thing. So it was a mindset shift for her as a young person that her dad was able to do for her. That's like my favorite story.
And she didn't start Spanx in her 20s. So just as a side
Yeah.
note too, like she didn't get married. I was reading her stories till 37. She had her career and 20 years ago. I think she's probably early 50s. So you do the math because
Because you ain't gonna find good math here.
Lavetta, just pull math right back in. Um, but yeah, just like congratulations to her because I think, listen, I know all of you are like, I don't know that I ever want to sell my business, but it's not that. It's just the fact. And what she said is when she started back in the day, she was fully self-funded. Her husband added to her caption that she started with $5,000 and an
Mhm.
idea, and she
And
hustled.
a trunk of a car.
Yeah,
Literally,
and
you
a
know how,
red
like, we think
backpack.
of, like, selling CDs out of a trunk of a car, the lining of our jackets or whatever, you know? It's literally she
Whenever I'm
started from the
like, want
trunk
to
of
buy
her
some
car.
watches in my coat,
But Sarah Blakely was literally like, "Wanna buy some Spanx?" And it was from
right?
the trunk of her car, and she would go to the stores and stuff, you know?
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? For all of you to think about, she didn't know 21 years ago when she came up with this idea where it would lead her,
Yeah.
and the lives she would change. And she really paved a path for women, especially of you can start a business. She said back then when she started, it was all men making undergarments for women and it
Yeah.
didn't make any sense. And
Right.
she's like, what could be more comfortable? And she created Spanx, obviously, and that was her idea. And she had $5,000 to do it and she did it. And uh, it's over
I
$1 billion
mean,
deal at this point.
unfathomable, honestly,
Yeah. And
But,
she's just
like,
paved the
Barack
path.
Obama and all those other stories too, like, who would have thought they didn't know the way there, you
Right.
know?
So whenever you're all feeling, I don't know if this is going to work. It may work and it may not work, right? Mina and I have had several businesses that we've tried and made conscious choices to close or not pursue. Then there's businesses that we've had for decades,
Mhm,
and so I think it's for all of you too. But it's the idea of, like Mina said, like, how did you feel today? It's the idea of being okay with the idea that you could fail, being okay with
mhm,
anything that's going to happen because that's entrepreneurship and picking yourself right back up and moving forward. So I hope that
and
inspires
it's
you for the start.
hard. And this holiday season will be a mix of joy and hardness and probably a million emotions, to be honest, like, already has. This whole week has encompassed a lot of things, but you will get through it because you're entrepreneurs.
Mhm. Yeah. Someone said, "Today is full of possibilities. However, tomorrow my kids have no school because of parent-teacher conferences. So tomorrow there are no
May tomorrow
possibilities."
be in your favor as well.
I My kids are out 3 days this week early. They're out early today too, so for parent-teacher conferences. So, I feel yeah, it feels like every time I'm, like, just about to get them back into school, like, for a full week,
Uh-huh. Oh, we had parent-teacher conferences this week too, but were virtual.
they're virtual, but the kids still have to go home early. Did yours have to go home early?
Mm-mm.
Who watches them when
We
the
have them at
teachers are
night.
talking? Oh, at night.
Yeah, we have them at night, so, like, at 6 p.m., that sort of thing.
Yeah. Suzanne
Mhm.
said, "I love that." This is talking about Sarah Blakely. She said, "My favorite is that even though she's amazing and has all of her products in Target, etc., her kids still don't think she's a cool mom." One of my favorite things she talks about. I watched
Mhm.
a reel that she did where she brought her kids into Target,
Yeah.
and she goes, "Look, mommy designed these," and they're like, "Uh huh. Look at my Fitbit, mom."
Yeah, uh-huh, they were so ready to go some other section of Target, you know?
You know, I know this is gonna sound like a name drop, but like I know Adina Menzel, James did a show with her, and when she got frozen, her son was young, he was 5 years old, and she talks about this publicly. And he was so annoyed by like all the girls dressed as Elsa walking up to her at Halloween. He didn't
Uh-huh.
think she was cool. He didn't want her to sing the siren song that
Yep.
like all children flocked to.
Oh,
So
I know. Just like,
your
have you
kids
ever
are
seen that one with
keep
The
you
Rock
grounded.
too? You know how he's like, on, what's that one with the ocean? Moana. And
Yeah.
his daughter, he has a daughter, and he'll be singing it, and she'll be like, "Dad, stop! I'm watching this movie." She didn't connect that he was the
Yeah.
actual voice, you
Yeah.
know.
Um,
So, you
so
know,
my
parents are
husband
all annoying to all their children. Believe
totally.
me.
We always joke because my husband, he's an actor on Broadway and TV and film, but like he does musical theater and he's like top of his game. Yeah, Suzanne, that's what I'm saying. We could talk about that on the side. But he's like top of his game, let's say, as a Broadway actor in musical theater. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child happens to not be musical theater. But still very cool, right? He's in a play. But so he sings. He's always sung. He sang at the Mets a couple weeks ago, and he was like the Mets game. He sang the national
Mhm.
anthem, and he was warming up in the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
So the kids are like, "Well, what's the national anthem?" So I started to sing it, and they listened. There's no criticism of me. Then James is like in the kitchen making them breakfast or something. He's like, "Oh, say," like with his big voice. And
Mhm.
Oliver looks at me and he goes, like eye rolls.
I know. I love it. It's so funny. I mean, my husband sings too, and not like musical theater or anything. And the kids are okay with it. But if I do anything, it's a little bit cooler, I have to say. Like last night, my daughter doing the unboxing with me, she loved it.
I know her and Willa are going to take over the product boss.
She loved it so much, and she was a pro. At the end of it, she was like, "Put in the comments which package was your favorite." And
Oh,
I was like,
genius.
"Oh my god, like this girl, I had no idea how to close this thing out. I was just going to like shut it off." You
Like
know?
she's like genius. She and Willa could take over bosses of breakfast one morning.
I know. And make them dress up in our outfits.
They'd be so good at it with their call to actions and all the things. It's just natural for them, right? They watch it, like they're exposed to it. A
Yeah.
lot of us are still
And they're not
figuring it
afraid of
out.
judgment or
Yeah.
saying things a certain way, or, they're just having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hint, hint, friends, go have fun. Go be a 6 year
Yeah,
old.
go have fun,
Don't
and
care.
don't
Like,
be afraid to fail. That's
yeah.
the other thing. That's the other thing. We didn't even know we were gonna talk about this today.
No, but good
I'm
job.
loving it. But yeah, don't be afraid to fail, because it's not like some of us that get on video and we're afraid that we're gonna stumble on our words, or we're afraid that we're going to look silly, or we're not sure how to. My thing is that I never know how to close it out. I'm like, okay, it's like saying goodbye on a phone, like, oh, okay, I'll talk to you later, you know? But the kids, they're not scared of any of that. They're not fearful of what people are saying. They don't care how many people are showing up live. They're not thinking other people are judging them at the other end, or they're not thinking they're going to stumble on their words, and they just have fun with it. So,
They just have
you know,
fun.
use that spirit in your business.
Be a 6 year old online, is what we're saying. No, but I think that's it, right? Like when we were younger, and we've talked about this, we were able to dream when people are like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're like, a
Mhm.
ballerina, an astronaut. You can be anything you want, right? That's what people would tell you when you were a little kid.
What's so funny? That's
Do you
funny.
not do you
Did
not tell
you
your kids
really
they
hear
can be
that as
anything?
a kid? I wanna
Yeah.
this is a big question.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
hear that as a kid that anything is possible?
You didn't hear that, like, if you ask a
An
kid what
astronaut? You crazy? No,
what
I
do
didn't hear
you tell
any
your
of that.
kids, "No, you will not be able to be an astronaut?"
I tell my kids that. But
Okay.
growing up, I
Oh.
was definitely trained to think there's good things you do, there's bad things you do, and there's only certain things that you will do. It wasn't like you want to be an artist, astronaut, creative, any of that stuff. No, the world is not my oyster in that
Oh.
scenario. I was just thinking about this because we just were talking about this in our masterminds, okay? About
Erica's like, "An astronaut? You crazy?" I'm like, "You can be whatever you want."
Okay, so we're just talking about this in our masterminds because I was talking about how I've been reflecting a lot about internally, like who I am at this point in my life, right? Because now we've reached a certain level, or a certain success, and I like to reflect on it each part of the way, and that's where we get caught up in the doing that we don't stop for a minute and think about how far we've come. And I was thinking about that analogy that I use of when we're going to see each other this weekend, we're actually flying first class. And and it brought me
And as
back to
Mina
like,
said, we're never going back.
yeah, we're never going back. And it brought me back to like why that felt so significant to me. And it was really about like, I felt like I had really made it, like I'm in first class now. But I think that the thing that will make me feel like I've really made it is that if my parents were able to go first class to, you know, Laos and Thailand area where they immigrated over, and they came with nothing. Also, my in-laws also flying first class with my children and my husband. So we're going into that, but it made me think about I would never have fathomed this. Not as a child, not as a high schooler, not as a 23-year-old. We gave that, number earlier. Not even as a 37-year-old, you know? So, and yet here I am with the world of possibilities because I just switched my thinking and it went very quickly, you know? And so I think that we all kind of have to think about like, you won't know the path there. You won't even know what your vision will truly look like or what your passions or what your life will look like. You just have to have faith and move forward and be willing to fail, and you will get where you need to go. So,
Grace wants to celebrate you for a minute, so maybe we pause for a second.
how are we going to do this? Oh my God, Jacqueline.
She's like, "Nobody look at me."
I like to do my reflecting in my own personal time, Grace.
Which was so funny because today, just a super aside, Julie Ball of Sparkle Hustle Grow, in her Sparkle Hustle Grow subscription box, is going to be giving away. So any of you that want to
Mhm.
go subscribe, it's a great business box or a subscription box for business owners. So she has a bag she's going to do that says "Ask me about my small business," and she's like, and that
Uh-huh.
way you can wear your "Ask me about my small business," and it's a conversation starter. So when you're at the post office, you can wear it. And I'm thinking, Mina's like, I would burn it. I would never.
Oh, hell no, would I take that to the post office,
I would
And I said to her
Nobody
audience,
asked
I was
me
like,
about my small business.
be ready. Because, I have all kinds of people coming up to me and I like to be prepared. That's why even with like, I actually, shout out to Nicole at Ruth and Nathan's. She sells bow ties. When the first time I rode first class, she recognized me. And I, at the time, didn't think of
So
it as
so let's step back.
okay, okay.
So let's just go all the way back to DC. And then I will answer questions about the directory
Uh-huh.
because we're getting a bunch over on
Okay.
Instagram. So we were in Washington, DC for a team meeting, and we're doing a brand overhaul. So you'll all see that eventually. And we're gonna get to that
Eventually.
too one day.
2025, but okay.
Been working on it since 2020, but it's cool. And so we were driving, and Mina's like, she's checking in for her flight, and she's like, "Oh, I can upgrade. Can I upgrade to first? Can I upgrade to first class?" I was like, "You do you, like you,
It was
yes."
here's the thing, math alone, this is why you go back to math. It was $90, only $90 to upgrade to first class from Washington, D.C. to Des Moines, but it was $40 for me to check my bag, and we were running late at that
You
time
go
too.
spend the
Yeah.
$90. It's
So
cool.
it was only a difference of $50, so I was like, no brainer," and I can cut into the first seating too,
Right, because we
or
were
the
definitely
first
running
entry.
late. So
Yeah.
she is not TSA pre-check over there. So
Yeah.
so she flies so let's back up even more. Back to the hotel when we're packing.
Uh-huh.
Mina's wearing like her outfit, but she's got a hurt foot, so she's wearing socks and slip and slide, like slide in sandals. And she goes, "Do you think this looks bad? Like, do you think I get on the airplane like this?" And we're like, "Yeah, nobody's looking at you. Just like you've got a mask, just get on the airplane."
But I will have to say I switched you didn't know this, but I switched my shoes once I got to the airport, so nobody actually saw me too much in that
But she asked her to be
socks.
okay, and we're like, "No one's. Don't worry, no one's gonna like.
No
You've got
one's
a mask.
looking, like, what's the problem here?
No one
Like,
cares."
nobody's judging you here, you
So
know?
then so then Mina, plops herself down in first class, and I think there's some bag situation that happens.
Yeah, right. I
Like,
had to put my bag up at the top, but I was still using it, and so I was like, "Yeah, I'll put it up there."
the flight attendant asked you to put it up?
Yeah, the flight attendant asked me to put it up there, and I said, "I will. I just don't want to cut off people that are coming in because I was in the front rows and there were still people coming in because I got first seating." I was like, "I'll do it when there's a pause in the line." And I was like, "Yeah, I understand. My bag goes up there, you know." And I was, it wasn't like I was not being nice. I was just saying I don't want to cut people off.
Right, you were being considerate of others. Okay, so
Yeah.
then cut to, some minutes later, and what happens?
I think she went back and checked my name because then the same flight attendant, Nicole, comes back and she's like, "Hey, are you Mina from the product boss?" And I was like, yeah, like thinking, okay, did I put my product boss, like, did she check my credit card? Like, what's happening here? And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I recognized your voice and your name, and I saw you were going to Iowa, so I thought I'd ask." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, are you a product boss?" And she's like, "Yeah, I sell bow ties." And it was like amazing. And I took my photo with her, and it was the first time I've been recognized for my voice. I had a mask on, and then she thanked me for us, giving the coffee, and she's like, "Yeah, I used the coffee one of the days," and I was like, "This is really
We had
cool."
given away, like, Starbucks gift cards, so she had gotten
Yeah,
one.
Starbucks the barcode, and so it was amazing. And so I kind of went about my day, and I thought it was so amazing, and I followed up with her later, and I took a photo, and then I told the team about it, and we thought it was crazy. I think about that moment often, though, I have to say. Like, now that I'm past it, I didn't think of it as like a huge significant thing because it was kind of like just happened upon me. But I do think of it often because I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, I was flying first class and somebody recognized me," which felt really great. It's like felt acknowledged for it. And it was a
Especially since you've been
product
locked up in a
boss.
house for, like, 18
Yeah.
months.
And on top of that, for the first time since 2020, I was really able to put a name to a face of somebody's life I had impacted in a day, a week, or a month, or their whole entire lifetime, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh," like though I know your names and your handles a lot of times, I actually don't, I haven't seen you all in person. I mean, very rarely do I. So it was like there was an actual human that recognized me, and I had impacted her day and her business. It was the craziest thing. I think back to it all the time, and it kind of connected it in my brain, like, "Whoa, I am doing something,"
Right. Because a lot of times we're
And
just looking at each
mhm,
other into a screen and seeing comments, which,
yeah.
by the way, speaking of one of the best comments, I almost start cry laughing. 6211 Design said, "So if we ever see you out in the wild, we should send you a warning DM before we approach you. Kind of like, hey, Mina, I'm across the room and I'm going to come and say hi. Just wanted to warn
Alert,
you."
alert, alert. And put the siren emojis. No, no, no. The thing is, I feel like I know all of you. That's why when she approached me, it felt like no big deal. I feel like I know all of you. So do not feel like you need to do any warnings. The thing that throws me off is like when I'm at Costco or Sam's Club and somebody comes up to me and I don't know them at all. They don't know me and they're in my space and they know nothing about me and they're a true stranger, you know? And so, like, I've had strangers come up and tell my children they love them. And I'm thinking, are you going to kidnap my children? You know?
So let me just wrap this up with a bow.
Yeah.
We can move to the next topic.
So that's why. But for all of you, please, please come out to me.
Because we want to talk about virtual presence.
Yeah.
Like that's what we want to get to.
And the directory,
And the
yes.
directory. But where we started this was sort of like inspiring in terms of certain people, like J.K. Rowling at 23,
Uh,
who was was she?
she was broke.
Broke. She was broke at 23. Or we were talking about Sarah Blakely, who just sold Spanx. Like she announced the sale of Spanx today, 21 years after starting her product-based business. And then we talked about our daughters that I was doing unboxings earlier in the week. I didn't post them. I just went live and then deleted them. But I had Willa on. Willa last night. Willa, what's your name? Mina had
Mhm.
Layla on last night
Mhm.
with us, and just how free spirited they are and how they were having
Mhm.
fun. And so much of this is like you just have to go for it, and you just don't worry about failing or failure or what people are going to think. Like when Mina and I started a podcast, we had zero
Mhm.
audience. Like even with our other businesses, while they were successful, we didn't have an audience.
And I will tell you the things that went through our heads were, do we say too much? Do we say like too much? Do we sound like Valley girls? Which one is from the straight up from the
100%.
valley?
Hmm.
Um, do we do we laugh too much? Are we not serious enough? What if we had stopped with all those thoughts? Like what if we had stopped because of all those thoughts, right? We would have
Yeah.
no podcast now.
Yeah. I mean, I hated listening to myself going back, dating ourselves again. Like your voicemail, and then
Yeah.
you'd hear
Uh-huh.
yourself on voicemail, and it's like, oh my God, that's my voice. So I think, and that's the same thing now, even, with all of you as you put yourselves out there. Breaking news about Instagram and Instagram lives. If you all go hit live, which probably all of you are like, I haven't done this, so I would never know. But when you've updated the app and you click live, it actually has this option right now that allows for you to choose whether you want to go live to your audience, or you can test out live to no audience. So they have this
Oh,
like,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
because Mark Zuckerberg has been listening to us talk this whole time and understands that product-based businesses
I
are a
mean,
little bit
Marky
nervous.
Mark. That is excellent because now you can practice.
Right. And so I don't know,
Mhm.
you might need to update your apps. I updated my iPhone, which still feels like there's glitches. I updated the Instagram app, but I actually screen grabbed it. So that's something just to let you all know, but it doesn't matter. There might be zero people. Right now we have a lot of people watching, and but we used to come on and there were 10 people. I even still go live at night and it might be a weird time and there's like
Mhm.
not that many people, but it doesn't matter. It lives in perpetuity. You post it, you practice, you do stuff. So we
Mhm.
just want you to all start to get comfortable and take a little bit of Willa and Layla's spirit of just
Mhm.
like it's fun. They're not worried about what people are going to think of you. Anything is possible, and
And
it's the
you
same for all of you.
transfer the energy. I think it was
Mhm.
like people were watching, they were having fun too. She was like, "Let me write down this down in my notebook." She wasn't really writing down, though she does know how to read and write. She was just like being silly. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, so like she was getting into character, a little bit. I mean, it's her own character, but she was really having fun. And I think it gets transferred to the people that are watching.
Revved Up Hot Sauce says, doing my first live today with another MSM student. That's genius
Oh,
because
nice.
that's comfortable. There's 4 of you can go. Speaking of that, next week, Bosses and Breakfast is going to have a takeover with some
Yes.
famous product bosses that are in
Uh-huh.
our community that are actually going to step in and take their reins. And it is so fun. And they are thinking
And
of
it
all
is
these fun things.
not Layla and Willa.
It's not, but almost as fun. So next week's going to be really exciting too because they've got some fun things to talk about. So we're really excited to announce that next week
Yeah.
for you. Okay. So getting to, the business part of this show. First part, just to tell you all. So how many of you are already listed in the Shop 1 in 5 directory or the small business shopping directory, or that you did get listed, that you've, either purchased your listing or you're up and running? Revved Up Hot Sauce, I've already purchased from her over there on, from through the directory. I discovered her business through there, shopped it, bought the most that I could buy, which was the giant bundle of 6 hot sauces. Okay, so Laura's in, Sabria's in, I know Greg is in, Natural Bella is in. So
Shout out Canada. So
let's
Janet is in Canada, and so it's a global directory, so keeping that in
wait,
mind.
Finland signed up last night. We have
Mhm, yeah.
Finland. So if you're somewhere else in the world and you're like, do you take my country? 100%. And you would be the first listing. So when you put in your information, your like Finland will populate now as a country people can shop from, which is kind of cool. Cause if Greg and I are like into Icelandic chocolate. And so Greg flew to Iceland to get
You,
it.
Greg,
I ordered it.
and what the heck is his name?
Zac Efron, my
Zac
husband.
Efron. You, Greg, and Zac Efron are into Icelandic chocolate.
What's funny is Zac Efron used to be too young for me, but now
Oh, no, no, not
not
anymore.
anymore.
Man, that dancing in a car scene from that fraternity movie that he's in, I mean, that might have been too young, but nowadays he's aged in a fantastic way.
Spectacular. No, anyways. Okay, let's move on.
Anyways, back on track, back on
I'm
track.
blushing. So Julie Godsey said my listing went live last week. Little Love Parcels is in there. Melissa Bagley is in there. People are working on theirs. People are in there. Amazing. So you can sign up at any time. So the directory will always be available for any of you to get listed at any point to sign up for your 12-month listing. Here's the kicker. This is why I want you to sign up today, by tonight, is that we have a really big push coming up in November. It's going to be something where you're looking around, you're like, oh, I'm seeing it in a lot of places. We've got a press push happening in November. We're doing stuff with influencers and like people of influence, potentially like, I don't want to say celebs, like huge celebs, like Adina's
Micro
not going to promote it.
influencers, I feel
But
like.
yeah, but there's
Mhm.
actors and stuff that we're friends with that we're going to ask to promote this. So we're going to be pushing out the directory hard in the month of November. Press is pushing it out and people are shopping. And so
Mhm.
our little carrot that we dangled for all of you that we want you all to sign up today by tonight is that we actually have the Level Up How You Show Up boot camp, which is a live 3-hour boot camp with Minna and I that we're teaching tomorrow. That's going to help you figure out how to level up how you show up online, which we can kind of talk about in a little bit. So you get that. It's like a value of a $4,000 training. It's live. It's a workshop with Minna and I that you get that included with your 12-month listing and the live access tomorrow. Plus, we have already in there on the back end, you have 5 marketing workshops that are helping you with your marketing. So influencer marketing, email marketing, video marketing, a whole bunch of stuff. So you already have trainings in there. And there's other, bonuses as well. So if and when you sign up today, you're going to get access to that Level Up How You Show Up bootcamp tomorrow live. And if you can't make it live, then you'll get the recording. So
Mhm.
that is our thing. And also, you're getting it at Founders Members price for $297. It's for a 12-month listing. That's 81 cents a day, basically. And then it's you lock in your founding members price for 2 years. And then if any of you, which I know a lot of you here, like Revved Up Hot Sauces in multiple categories, so she's under food and also under gifts, her business, your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth listing is 50% off using the code LAUNCH. So if you feel like your business can be listed under gifts, under subscription boxes, under home, like if you feel like you could be listed under a lot of
Mhm.
categories, you get to get in right now with 50% off your second, third, fourth listing. And
Our
everyone that
team on
what?
Instagram, can you put the link? I think people are having questions, and I think that if they just clicked on it, they could understand what it looks like too.
Revved Up Hot Sauce has 3 categories and home. Yeah, so they
Yeah.
signed up for 3 and they were getting sales. Anyone that's signed up at any point up until tonight at 11:59 p.m. Eastern will get access to this training. So it's for all of you. And if you're considering another listing and you want to take us up on that, like 50% off your multiple categories, you could just email hello@shop1in5.com and they will honor that 50% off, but they have to just do it manually.
Mhm.
Okay. So the boot camp's
And that
tomorrow.
is shop1in5.com/get-listed. I'm gonna
Or just
try
go
to
to shop1in5.com and click the button at the top that says get
yeah,
listed.
right.
So it does work for one of a kind. Winchester and Stone FX, does it work for one of a kind? Yeah. So here's what it is. It is a visual directory for people to discover, support, follow you, decide to shop from your businesses. It is a visual directory to be discovered, right? So
Uh-huh.
it doesn't matter what as long as you fit within the categories, it doesn't matter what you sell, how it's sold. If you're a maker, there's artists in there. If it's one of a kind, it's just what it does then is it allows people to discover your business, and then they can click a shop now button if they'd like to go off of our site and go to your site. We take 0 transaction fees. We take no money from anything. So if you make sales, there is no like we don't have fees like Etsy has fees, right? Because it's not a
Marketplace.
marketplace.
Mhm.
It's a discoverability platform.
And it has nothing to do with multi-stream machines. So, Winchester and Stone, it is not the same training. This is completely new, which is so exciting about it. So, for this boot camp, the Level Up How You Show Up online boot camp, it's the first time ever we're doing it, and it'll be amazing. And there's no overlap to anything else that we're teaching anywhere. And the directory actually is not even attached to multi-stream machine at all.
Yeah.
So these are completely different things.
Yeah. Yes. So if you're one of a kind, and another person asked, like, where does it send people to? Like, where can they shop? They can shop any URL you want to list. So if you have your own website and you want to take people to shop your website, you can take them there. If you want to take them to a specific product page, you can change your URL to that if you really wanted.
Mhm.
If you
There's one person who's putting her, Etsy shop on vacation, after her stop date for shipping, and she's gonna switch it to Instagram, her link to Instagram then.
So you can send people to Etsy. You can send people to your Instagram, especially some of you have, like, you could shop on Instagram, so they can just click the shop button. If you haven't, like I said, I think I said an Amazon listing, wherever you want to
Mhm.
send them. If you're listed on some store and you just want to send traffic there, you could send them wherever you want. So you have the ability to update your listing at any time. You have where you can send them to. You can change your photos. You can add video. I know right now some people they had Halloween photos up, and they're starting to transition their Halloween photos over to holiday photos to get people ready for, like, the gift giving time. Another thing that I saw, like, subscription boxes, today with Sparkle Hustle Crow, we looked at their listing, and she has a discount code in there that she's providing to people. So it actually is like an enticing dangling carrot. If you check out her subscription box, you can actually use a discount code and then go purchase like, click shop now and go purchase it. So really cool. You will all get emails
But today
about.
is the last day, so check your email
Yes.
soon as you can, and you'll have emails from the product boss that will always be, having the link, because today is the last day for that boot camp. You'll actually get, a couple additional emails reminding you as well.
Yeah, so you will get all the login details. I think the team is probably sending out the login details tomorrow once we have all the people in by tonight, and then they're going to send that out tomorrow. Um, can we list more than one URL in our listing? No. It's like set up through the way that we built this software. So it's just one URL because all the buttons have to link
But
to it.
you do get, like, social links. So underneath your bio, it's where you located if you have a location, what year you were founded, and your social links. So if you already have your social links, there's little icons for, like, Instagram, Pinterest, or whatever your social links are. And then underneath that is tagged values. So let's say that you are minority owned, eco-friendly, handmade, whatever it is, underneath that whole entire bio, there's links that go out for that with the social. And then you have the main link. And honestly, there should only be one link, because we made it that way intentionally, because there should be one call to action. You're going to one place. They're not arriving and being like, "Oh my gosh, I have no idea where to go and what to do." That's why it's like most people will go to wherever they're selling, their website, their Amazon shop, their Etsy shop, um, sometimes their Instagram, because people do sell on Instagram still, or they're, not selling through Etsy right now. So whatever it is, where it's one path that is very clear and non-confusing.
Mhm. So if you sign up by tonight at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, that is our carrot dangled to you to get you listed. Tomorrow, we're going to help you. It's a 3-hour workshop live with us. We're going to do some audits of listings and some audits of some other things so you can actually see what we mean by your visual presence. And then we are going to walk you through it. So anyone that's already listed will have the ability to go back in and make changes if they want. Some of you might be like, I'm
Mhm.
doing a great job, but it's also going to help you with your presence within on Instagram, on your website. If you're listed on Etsy, we're really going to help you because what I think, and that's what we wanted to talk about today, was your visual presence. Jennifer, really quick, I'm not seeing it in the chat on Instagram for me to pin it, just in case you're able to do that
Yeah,
again.
I tried to. I did it too. So if you look for shop 1 in 5, you can pin my comment.
Yeah. But she'll do it again. I just
Mhm.
for some reason it's not there. So if you have any actual specific questions, you can always DM us. You can always email hello at the product boss because I think some people were asking about they were comparing their Tenny Human Prints, you had a question specifically. If you could just email hello at the product boss, nope, hello at shop1in5.com or DM because it's a different team with different
Mhm.
sort of customer service, go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit. The audits are done, Katie. I think there was an email sent out about that where we asked, and we're not auditing a ton of people. We're just picking a few, but I think you'll really kind of learn and discover um, from it. So, any other specific questions about the directory? Please email hello at shop1in5.com. You can DM at shop1in5. And the boot camp tomorrow is it at 1 p.m. Eastern? We don't have
Um,
access to our calendars because we're on all our
yeah,
devices.
we're on every single device that we're
Yeah, 1
on.
PM Eastern.
So, yes, 1 p.m. Eastern. So noon Central Time is when the boot camp is. It's for 3 hours. But once again, if you cannot make it live, you don't have to. You will get the recording access to the replay.
Yeah. Okay. So Mina and I have been shopping from the directory very a lot, right? Like it's
Uh-huh.
a daily ritual
Well,
at
we've
this
been
point.
watching the build out. We've been seeing the new companies. The fun and exciting thing about it too, also, is that new listings go up every single day.
Yes.
So it feels like a fun experience every time. Like I actually was really delightfully surprised at the new businesses going in because every time I go in a shop, it's not the same ones. And I'm like, oh, look at this one. Look at this one. It feels really exciting.
Yes. So we've been shopping it, and as we've been shopping it, and also listen, we have like over I don't know, 20, 30,000 students at this point that we've had our like hands on in a way like where we've helped these students. So we have a lot of product based businesses that come through our brains that we see visually, whether they're, multi-million dollar brands that we've worked with, to people who are just starting out. Right. Like me, myself, I've launched over 1,000 startup fashion and apparel and accessory brands. Right. So that in itself was like concept, $0 needing to get it off the ground. And then with our students, we've seen a lot. And also Mina and I, this is our job. So we're very aware of other businesses that exist. If you work with us, we're always pulling out like examples from things that we've seen. So,
Uh-huh.
what we've realized and what we see as a hurdle for a lot of businesses and a lot of newer businesses that maybe if you feel like you don't have the momentum yet below you, it's not that your products are not good, it's that your visual presence and your messaging is not yet refined enough. It's not tweaked yet. Like you may not be like Revved Up Hot Sauce. She has a graphic design background. So she was able to easily get like incredible packaging and labels and an online presence, right? Not all of us, I'm not a
Mhm.
graphic designer. So not all of us have that ability so quickly to make those leaps, right? Do any of you feel this way?
Yeah. And I think though, as we're starting to grow, it really comes in little tweaks, you know? How many of you have heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover? I think
Yeah,
we
good
all grew
question.
up with knowing don't judge a book by its cover, right?
So
And
if you're talking about Mina and I, please
mhm,
don't judge our books by our cover, right? Like
mhm.
like as human beings,
You
you
shouldn't
get
for
to know
people,
us.
right?
Right.
But if you're a general consumer and you see products next to each other, you will 100% judge that book by its cover. If you see a bunch of the saying comes from if you see a bunch of books, obviously you don't know what the contents are in the inside. You can't judge it off of what the book is. But what makes you reach for certain books? What makes you click on certain listings in the directory? What makes you click on certain bios? Well, it's the cover. It's
Mhm.
the visual presence, right? So while we may not want to do that initially as we're meeting people, we certainly do that as consumers in front of a bookshelf of listings, a directory of listings, and even on Instagram. Why do you choose to click on somebody's feed and look at it? Why do you choose to click on somebody's um, website if there's a bunch of websites or even Etsy listings or any of that, right? You look at the initial thumbnail, the initial cover, whatever it is, then you decide this is the one, this is the one, I'm going to check it out. Oh, this is the book, let me read the back cover, let me open it up, let me see what this is about. But it usually starts with that initial front cover of the book.
Yeah, the visual presence. And does this resonate for you? Can you think back to an instance of, like you discovered a business or you saw an Instagram and then you chose whether you were going to follow it or you were going to click and hang out on the website and shop around, right?
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of you have seen or experienced things where you're like, this website feels a little
Yeah.
bit,
Right. Oh, but caveat here. We don't want you to look a certain way. This is not to say you need to be Instagrammable or look a certain way or this is the way you do it and this is, the highlight reel or whatever. Everybody has their own aesthetic. Everybody has their own customer that is drawn to certain things. But there is naturally you will gravitate towards whatever this aesthetic is and how well it's portrayed to you.
right.
Does
Because it's a law of attraction, right? We're all into different
Mhm.
things. Mina and I, our homes look very different from each other, right? Like
Mhm.
we're slowly merging into the same person. But if you took us to a store, actually, if you took us to a clothing store, Mina goes for prints way
Mhm.
more than I go for a print, right? So she'll go for like prints all the time, and I'm more of
Mhm.
like a solid color person. It's just what we are
Not
attracted to.
you wouldn't be able to tell that today.
Yeah, it's a good example, right? This is tie-dye. This is from another small business. But yeah, so I think what I want you all to think about is like we each, even like your spouses, like when we go to a store and you look at things on a shelf, you're gonna reach for something that attracts you. And
Mhm.
obviously there's a bigger net to cast. Like there's gonna be your ideal customer, and then there's a really big net you can cast that like pulls people in on the fringes that, like I see a lot of people getting listed right now. That's so exciting. That you're pulling people in, but you need to pull in and attract the right people, and you also need to repel people, right? But you
Mhm.
do need to have a good visual online presence. So I know that some people are like, Laura's like, oh, this is what I'm freaking out thinking, have I created a good visual page? Well, Laura, I think you're a student of ours. And so you're learning from what we teach. And then tomorrow, for all of you that get listed and are able to come to the level of how you show up bonus boot camp, or you watch the recording in the future, you're going to
Mhm.
understand. It's going to start to click for you when you start to understand what it means by your visual presence, what it
Yeah.
means, like how that will help convert, how that will help draw people in, how it'll help to like tell people want to follow you and they want to buy from you and they trust you, because your online presence and your visual online presence is probably that first thing where they're like, if you've heard about no like trust, one, do I like what I see?
Mhm.
Right? Do I trust them because it looks like they're legit? And
Yeah.
then the no part is they're gonna stay to get to know you.
Yeah. And it won't teach you all the things under the sun. This is only a 3-hour workshop, but it will teach you enough where you will look better and present yourself in a more streamlined way, like more clear for your customer to draw the right person in than you were before, right? And that's
Mhm.
what we want from all of you is that we want you to be able to get closer to what you're trying to get the customer to understand from you, what you buy, what they buy, what you're selling, the story that you're telling that they're connecting to, the visuals that most of our what we know of a business is done visually because we're doing all of our purchase online. So if you can't communicate visually with a customer that you want, not based off the what you think that they want, but really drawing the right customer in, you know, then that is really, really hard to sell
Yeah.
because their experience is all visual.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you? Um, Ivy and Zale just purchased a listing. Congrats on getting there. And same with
Yay.
Teresa. Um,
Yay. That's awesome.
So here's the thing. They're asking like, do we get access to the workshop? It doesn't matter whether your listing is up. The second that transaction goes through and you're in, right, you get access to it. So don't worry about getting your listing up. And in fact, if you get listed to, or you get a listing today or listings today, wait till tomorrow. There's an initial setup, and then wait till tomorrow. Go through this with us, and then you can go out and build it this weekend. And make the tweaks and the changes that you can make, and you're going to do what you can do, right?
Mhm.
But even these small tweaks, like Mina said, like there's small tweaks, small pivots are going to get you a little bit closer. We're
Mhm.
doing a rebrand. We're 4 years into our business. Like it has taken us, we were talking about this yesterday, it has taken us 4 years to feel like we're finally very clear on some of our messaging. We've
Yeah.
actually gotten some of our colleagues out there in the world that we've talked to recently. We're like, it really sounds like you're dialed in more. Like,
Yeah.
really sounds like you found your messaging. And we have no idea how we landed here, but 4 years into it, it feels better. So it's not to say that all of this is going to be, an overnight change, but it starts it.
Yeah. And it never will be because your brand will evolve,
Hmm.
your business will evolve, you as a business owner will evolve. But how can we get it a little bit closer and then a little bit closer and then a little bit closer? And the goal really is for, when customers show up on the directory, that you present yourself in a way that they're like, yes, they're raising their hand with, yes, I want to know more about this customer. Not every customer, your customer that happens to go on there, that happens want to support small businesses, that's looking in that specific category and wanting to shop and find and come in and see what businesses are there, right? So that is really the idea of it, is because we all could do a bit better. Even myself and Jacqueline, there was a time when I felt really self-conscious about our Instagram feed. And this is a whole different thing than that, right? That our Instagram feed, I thought it needed to look a certain way. I thought it needed to look like everybody else's. When really, as I've grown in my business, I actually realized that I just needed to become clear on what I wanted to do. How I wanted to present it, and visually, my was I happy with this visual presence that I was presenting. So it really is about that. Okay.
Yeah. So there were a couple questions. When Ivy and Zale, who just signed up, said, I'm excited. I have a photo shoot next week.
Yay.
Agate and Birch, who you shop from and talked about last night, said developing visual presence is a work in progress always. It's fun and rewarding to see your presence grow. Unique design creation gift said, will the workshop be recorded? It absolutely is recorded and you'll get access to the replay. So if you can't join live, totally okay. We get it. Like, we have things. There's you all have other plans. So if you can get there. And then, there are other bonuses. So if you're thinking, what are these other bonuses that I get? You could head on over to shop1and5.com, click the get listed button, and then you can see the entire page and it'll tell you sort of about the directory. It'll share with you the bonuses that are included all the time. There's a code, if you use the code launch, to get 50% off of your second, third, fourth, fifth listing if you wanted. Someone bought 6 listings yesterday, actually.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so you can get 50% off of that. And then everyone that signs up today will get access to this tomorrow, which is the Level Up How You Show Up boot camp. So I think it's important, right? It's important for all of you to think about your visual presence. I'm not gonna say specifically people that I've seen, but I will tell you, even when I'm shopping the directory and I'm on a page, there are certain ones I'm going to click on, even though I know I'm like the co-founder of this. And there's certain ones that I'm like, I'll get back to that one, right? It doesn't visually pull me in. And it could be of two reasons. One, I'm not their customer, which is totally fine.
Hmm.
Or the picture isn't enticing enough. It's not like I'm going to take my time and spend it there yet. So if you're like, oh my God, what if that's me? Don't worry. We're covering this tomorrow and you're going to do the best that you can do. But what we realized was like, there are customers out there. This is something that as business owners, it's like we all need to take a little bit of constructive criticism. We all need to pay attention to our presence and you all need to do the work. Right? We
Hmm.
can do only so much. We can bring people. We
Hmm.
cannot make them shop from you. We cannot twist their arm. We cannot, you're going to need to convert people. You're going to need to have your brand be represented in the right way.
You're going to need to pull them in yourself.
Yes.
And you do it, and the way that we support you is we firmly believe in education. That's why you have 5 workshops that you have in the directory, for anybody that signs up at any time, that it's all about marketing and visibility. Those workshops are there because we believe that we can educate you, we can teach you to fish, right? Versus giving you the fish. If we could give you the fish, to be honest, we'd give you the fish.
Yeah.
But we
All the
really
fish.
want to teach you to fish as well.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, I hope you guys are loving all these analogies today and understand what I'm talking about. And then for the boot camp is so important because it's one of the things that if we're looking at everybody side by side, you first of all need to know that you have your own customer that's coming in, but you need to be able to draw them in better than you were before. So, We want to equip you with the education behind that, but you have to actually put it into place, right? And
Um,
customize it for yourself.
Jennifer, there's an email that said your listing must be live in the directory to be eligible for the boot camp. Let's just double check that. I think it needs to just be like you have to have put your information in. Yeah, she's gonna double check with you on that.
What was
Okay.
the question? Sorry.
That there was an email that said your listing must be live in the directory to be eligible for the boot camp. Is that incorrect?
No, you must have signed up. You must
Right.
have signed up. Yeah. So all the people that have signed up, they keep asking, do I if do I get access to? Yes, everybody that signs up to October 21st, is that what the date is today? 21st, midnight Eastern time, you all get access. And it's the purchase. It's not the you have to have a photo up there.
So
Okay.
someone said the email said it must be live. So that was
I think it's
incorrect.
just that um yeah, you just have to purchase it and they do approving on their end, but it just was unclear unclear copy. So,
Yeah. We will
mhm,
change that. So as long as
mhm,
you've made the purchase, you can be in there. I'm not sure which email that is. So again, like we don't this is the thing, like we don't have our hands in all parts of our business anymore. We have
mhm,
teams and department
and it
heads.
goes to
So
show you a confused customer doesn't know where to go.
confused business owners don't know what they're saying. So we'll check that for all of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll as long as you've made the purchase, you'll get access to it. So we will reconfigure that and send that email out as an
That email
apology.
says urgent. What?
And yesterday we were like, we don't want to read all the emails before they get sent out.
Yeah, we definitely need to get a yeah, we'll touch base with our team after about these emails. Okay.
Hey, look, it happens to us too. I was literally like yesterday, like, I don't want to read another email. Just send them out.
And I read 2 more last time, but it was, getting people into the directory. It was in the back end.
All right, you guys don't have to keep posting on the subject line. We've heard you. We will check with we will check with our team. In red, I think in all caps. This is what Oliver did yesterday when James was singing again. He's like, "Dad, like this." That's how I feel right now. Okay, well, thank you for that, friends. Um, Listen, it is what it is. Okay, so we will fix that as long as you sign up for the
Yeah,
directory and the transaction goes through. We will get you tagged into that
yeah,
the level up boot camp. Okay.
right.
Um, Alfred said, so if I draw in customers into the Shop 105 platform, would that cannibalize my own website? Most platforms have an audience that I use on my website for my own peeps. Just wondering. Great question. So this is not a here's how we are seeing people use the directory. Okay. One, you being listed in the directory is in fact a way to one, it's a community of all of us supporting each other. So when you're all signing up and then you're telling people about the Shop 105 directory, this is our audiences going to the directory to discover other businesses. So Alfred, what you sell is different than other people listed. So you're going to perhaps be discovered by new audiences, right? It's going
Mhm,
to help your SEO when the press team or like newspaper articles are combing through it to think and try and discover, small product based businesses. They're going to find access. So that's one thing. The second thing we're asking people who are getting listed to do is share that they've taken the pledge. This morning someone posted and shared it in the group, which I love, is and every email they send is I'm listed in the small business shopping directory. Go check it out. Because what it's going to happen for you, Alfred, is you're going to keep driving traffic to your website. All of you are going to keep driving traffic to your
mhm.
website. Shop now, check this out, do this. But sometimes we think, what else can I talk about? Or how can I pull in my customer to really get them to understand what I do? And what that means is that you're small businesses. And so by saying I took the Shop 1 in 5 pledge and I'm asking all of you to take the Shop 1 in 5 pledge, and what is this? You would say it's a pledge to make 1 in 5 of your purchases from a small business online or offline. Like how you're making purchases from my small business and I so appreciate it. And if you want to commit to this pledge and find other businesses to shop from, especially this holiday season, go check out the small business shopping directory where you can discover and you can all call forward and be like, I shopped Agate and Birch, right? I
Mhm.
shopped Revved Up Hot Sauce.
I
You
shopped
can
Meridian, you know?
Meridian. You can
Mhm.
go and say, like, I shop these small businesses. You can do it too. Because there's no cannibalizing because they're not able to shop from you on our platform. Our platform is not a marketplace, it is a discovery tool.
Yeah.
It is a
Plus,
directory.
a customer, a consumer, like when most people are thinking about their consumers, they're thinking, okay, if I direct them somewhere else, they might get lost in the sea of things. But if that person really wants to get like a pottery piece from you, they know what you're known for. This is what I love about it. It's like, okay, Alfred is known for his pottery pieces and his aesthetic. But if I'm a consumer that has a lot of needs and a lot of purchases that I need to make. Where else can I purchase because I'm a consumer that wants to support small businesses? So you're using that same customer. It's just like how people think that a customer that loves candles will only buy one brand. It's not true, or a customer will
You should see all the pottery in my house
yeah,
currently.
right? And they all have a different feel, a different aesthetic, and when you're buying from a small business, they all have a different story.
Yeah.
So it will not cannibalize your own audience because there's different purchases they have to make. And it also lifts up your brand while also lifting up other people too. So all in all, it's like a win, 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 win,
And I
win.
think it gives it an easier time because some of you might feel like if I show up and be like, "Hey, shop from my small business, support my small business, shop from my small business," that's one thing you can do, right?
I mean, I hope you're not doing that the whole time. Like, shop for
This
me,
is
shop
my
for me.
this is my shop way,
Watch
right?
us.
So
Yeah.
yes, because a lot of times people feel like that. It's like, remember the old
Yeah, they
school
do
like
feel
guys
that
like,
way.
"Who wants to buy watches? I've got
Yeah.
watches." And then you like close up
Uh-huh.
your coat. But what it does instead is it kind of helps you talk about something else. Thank you so much for supporting my small business. Thank you for being here.
Mhm.
Thank you for following my small business. I took this pledge. I'm inviting you to take this pledge to shop 1 in 5 of your purchases from a small business. And did you know that if you want to discover other small businesses, there's this amazing directory? I am shopping from it this holiday season. You can too.
Mhm. Get all
And
your gifts done in this directory, and
yeah,
I'm in there as well.
and there's going to be we are if when you're already in the directory, there are badges and stickers and things you can
Mhm.
use. We're going to be
There's
giving
also
you
Giphies or GIFs in Instagram. Susanna was asking that.
yeah, on Instagram, if you look up shop 1 in 5, you actually can use like I support small businesses. We have a bunch of different
Mhm. And
gifs,
the shop
gifts.
1 in 5 logo and things like that.
And then also when you join, we're going to be giving you 3 to 5 posts a month for you to post that are other pieces of content to reinforce the idea of small businesses, right? If you think about the American Express movement of like shop small and you go to your local shops, a lot of times you'll see like a big sticker on their window that says shop small. It's that same idea we want you to reinforce with your customers, that same idea of like opening up your virtual front door to your store and you want them to shop 1 in 5 of their purchases. We're trying not to make this hard for the consumer. We know we want them to shop from all of you. We want it to be like 100% of the time. But what we want instead is just to make it not feel like pressure. But the conversation we had this morning was when they start to think, okay, I'm going to try. One of the last 5 purchases I made was it a small business? Let me consciously try and make that choice. It'll start to be ingrained in them. They're going to start to practice this. And then maybe it'll end up being 2 in 5 of their purchases, maybe 3 out of 5. Maybe they start to think like, I'd like to always try small business first and then go to the big guys. And so that's
Mhm.
our goal, but it's going to take all of us together to do this. It is not, we are doing our part for all of you. And then it's going to take all of you talking about this messaging. It's a groundswell from us product bosses. And
Yeah.
also to get listed. So the directory is an awesome directory that people can show up and buy things for their kids and subscribe to subscription boxes and get food and decorate their home and buy clothes and get jewelry, all the things. So it's going to take all of you to fill this directory up to make it a useful thing. It already is. According to our bank accounts, Mina and I have found plenty of things and we're still shopping.
Oh, according to our bank accounts, I was like, "Oh, yeah, the money's going back into the directory." So the thing is too that we always talk about multiplying efforts. It can't just rely on myself and Jacqueline. It would not get big enough. We only have our own sphere of influence, our own amount of efforts that we can do. But if we multiply it to each person telling 4 people, your business bringing in people, and then it overlaps to other people bringing their audience to you as well in the directory, we're all pushing to the directory. It goes out a whole bunch of different ways, but it comes in a whole bunch of different ways too. And it just doesn't start and stop with myself and Jacqueline. That's why we're educating you. Um, Education is essentially like how we improve your efforts,
Mhm.
right? So even when there's like
I have another one.
economies,
You could bring a horse to water, but you can't teach it to drink. Is that
you
one?
can't make it drink.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't make it drink. So you can get
You
somebody,
could
you can tell somebody these are all the steps, but you can't make somebody drink. They have to do it themselves.
right.
But a good example of this, like, is when, like, in third world countries, when, there's industry that happens or development of some sort, usually the key to any development is educating the people. So they'll start to build schools or they'll educate the villagers and things like that. So then they're able to, bring in money different ways than they normally would
You know
have.
what they did? Actually, this is
Mhm.
a cool story real quick. For elephant poaching for the tusks, they ended up taking like, listen, these small tribes and these people, this is something they've been learned. It's been passed down, father, grandfather to
Uh-huh.
father to son, to get ivory from elephants.
Right,
Well,
and
what
that's
they
the only way they were able to make money too.
yeah, they gotta do what they
Mhm.
gotta do, and so
Mhm.
what they saw in a way to stop that was to be able to give them education and industry, so by switching their job roles and giving them something else to do, was able to kind of stop that repetitive pattern because everyone has to also take care of themselves. So it's education,
Yeah.
but it's action. So you
Mhm.
can buy MSM and you can think I've purchased MSM and somehow my business is gonna change, but you're gonna have to watch the modules and then take action. You can get listed in the directory and but if there's not a leveling up to your online presence, if you're not there yet, there's only so much that's going to happen past the point of like, okay, I'm listed. But
Yeah.
then what? So I think we really just want you all to take responsibility for the results you're having and for the action you're taking. And, yes, Julie, you have to do the work, small steps. And like we started this whole conversation is if you fail, that's okay. We'll get up and we'll do it again. We'll fix it.
Mhm.
We'll make changes.
Yeah.
We'll tweak. Like we don't even know this email that went out. Sorry, we're going to
Yeah.
fix it, and
Mhm.
it's okay.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine, right? And, there was something else that we need to ask our team about too that I was like, "Mental note, ask team."
So we have another call. I'm seeing a lot of you sign up for the directory listings.
Mm,
Go
this was
ahead.
what it was. For Instagram, if you're using the gifts, they might be under the product boss versus shop 1 and 5.
They
So
are
we
under
need.
Shop 1 and 5. I use it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can look up the product boss and you can find stickers of Mina and I if you want to use us.
Mhm.
But there's also Shop 1 and 5. There's the 3 badges. There's like I should support small businesses. There's a bunch of gifs there too. So that's in there if you want to use that in your stories. Yay, Alfred joined. So welcome. And I saw some other people get listed.
Yeah.
So to conclude,
Mhm.
if you want to level up how you show up online, and our extra bonus to all of you for getting listed in the directory is that if you sign up tonight by 11:59 p.m. Eastern, you're going to get this training tomorrow. Um, Blows it out of the water. It's different, everything about this. Like the listing is really only 81 cents a day.
Mhm.
Okay, so you all, I don't care what money you're making, you all can afford 81 cents a day because we're spending so much money in other places, right? So I think it's worth it to do some work, some paid visibility for your business. And it does include a backlink. Someone asked, and that's a huge part of this is the SEO and
Mhm.
backlinks. And then our dingled carrot are come join us now so we can make this the best directory, especially for this holiday season,
And our
is
gift of education.
our gift of education of the Level Up How You Show Up Online Bootcamp. So sign up today, friends. You're going to get some more emails about it. We're going to talk about it. That access to that boot camp will end tonight. But if you sign up tomorrow or the next day or next week, you can always get listed. It just might not be with the founding members price. It might not be with that launch code for 50% off your multiple listings. And it won't include this particular bonus. But we're
Yeah.
going to keep getting you signed up and we're going to keep sending traffic your way. And then we can't wait to watch all of you convert that traffic and bring the customers to you. So
And stay tuned for next week's Bosses and Breakfast with our guest
special guests.
takeover. So there's going to be a duo on here, not myself and Jacqueline, not Layla and Willow, our daughters. It's going to be two product bosses. So
Fun duo that we're probably going to
yeah.
still be there watching live. So we're going to have to find another account to log in
I
on.
know, but we could be like walking or something.
Yeah.
So we're super excited. So stay tuned for that. But sign up for the directory by midnight tonight. Do it. We will
To
see
get
you
that
in
boot camp.
there. And we're so excited to be a part of this impact for the holiday season together and even into the new year.
Thanks,
So
friends.